I am Malala Yousafzai by Brad Meltzer, illustrated by Christopher Eliopoulos. From the series Ordinary People Change the World, I am Malala Yousafzai by Brad Meltzer, illustrated by Christopher Eliopoulos. I am Malala Yousafzai. Let me tell you a few interesting things about myself. I am double-jointed and can bend my fingers all the way back. I am also really good at arm wrestling my brothers. You made your point, you win! I like cupcakes, but don't like candy. And I hate green peppers and eggplant, but love pizza. Agreed about cupcakes and pizza. Also, my favorite color is pink, and I love styling my hair. I'm a Pashtun, part of a tribe of people from Afghanistan and Pakistan. I am Muslim, which means Islam is my religion, and I'm committed to peace and helping others. Growing up, I lived in the Swat Valley in northwest Pakistan. It may look different here, but we play many of the same games as you, like tag and hopscotch. Girls are treated very differently from boys here. If you are a girl, you're expected to get married and walk a few paces behind your husband to show he's in charge. Also, you're expected to cover yourself when you're outside your house. Niqab or burqa. Some women, like my mom, wear a scarf called a niqab on their face. Others wear black robes called burqas that cover everything. In my culture, that's the tradition. To me, it seemed uncomfortable and unfair for someone to require you to dress a certain way. In fact, if you were a girl, you weren't even listed on the family tree. When I was born, my father broke with tradition and wrote Malala, the first female name to be listed in 300 years. It was my dad's way of saying that boys and girls should be treated equally. It took more than that to improve things. My mother was smart, funny, and strong, but because of the rules of our society, she was never taught to read. Mama, why didn't anyone teach you? Because girls weren't given the same education as boys. My parents wanted me to soar. I wanted that for myself too. In local kite competitions, some kites would fly high, while others would plummet to the ground. I felt like the plummeting kite. My future would be cut down because I was a girl. But my dad pushed back against these harsh rules with the most powerful tool of all, education. He opened his own school, one of very few that girls could attend. This is how you will fly, Yani. Yani is Persian for dear one. His school didn't have desks, or even bathrooms. It was next to a smelly river, but it was paradise. As a toddler, even before I could talk, I'd sit in classes with older kids. What's she doing? Listening. By the time I was 3 or 4, I'd copy the teachers and present my own lessons. By 5, I was reading. Look at this girl. She is destined for the skies. But changing the world isn't easy. One day, at the town garbage dump, I was throwing away our trash, and I was worried about getting my nice shoes dirty. Then I noticed something. A girl. She was covered in filth and flies, sorting the trash into piles, paper, glass, bottle caps. My father later told me that poor kids like her have to work in the dump, looking for things they can sell. I kept picturing that girl with the dirty face. That girl could be me or you. That girl wasn't given an equal chance. My father taught me that education was the best way to empower people. The world wouldn't be fair unless schooling was available for everyone, boys and girls, rich and poor. It might be hard to understand why school meant so much to me, but in a country where women had so few opportunities, we could explore through books. At our school's public speaking competition, I wanted to win so badly, but my hands kept shaking. Everyone was watching. I kept losing my place. Hold on, let me find my spot. I came in second place that day. On top of that, it felt great to learn. Not everyone was excited by my success. When I was 10 years old, a group called the Taliban took control of our valley. They preferred the old traditions and believed that women should not have any rights. Women should not be outside the home. They were so against freedom for everyone, they told us to burn our TVs and computers, as well as our CDs and DVDs. Music and TVs are filled with bad ideas. Later, the Taliban left a letter on the school's gate. They told my father if he didn't stop teaching girls, bad things would happen. What will you do, Abba? You keep studying, Yani. I will protect your dreams. They were threatening my father. Now I was scared. The Taliban treated us like little dolls they could control. They wanted girls to be quiet. Instead, my school fought back by holding a rally. Would you like to say something? I knew this was my chance to share our message. My words were powerful and proud. We are afraid of no one, and we will continue our education. This is our dream. It felt like it wasn't just me speaking. My voice was the voice of thousands of girls. Later that year, the head of the Taliban announced that girls would no longer be allowed in school. Only a few fought back. Within days, my class of 27 shrank to 10. They're taking away our future. How can they do this? A friend of my father asked if any of the older girls would be willing to write about it for an international news organization called the BBC. I was only 11 years old, but I asked my father, why not me? I used a secret identity, the fake name Gul Makai, a heroine from an old Pashtun folktale. My first entry was titled, I Am Afraid. From there, our story started to spread. This girl is amazing! You gotta read this! I traveled from Pakistan all the way around the world, people reading about how the Taliban was trying to stop letting girls get an education. To get better at public speaking, I practiced my interviews in the mirror. Soon, I was using my real name. And when the Taliban tried to close our school, I looked right into the camera and said, they cannot stop me. I will get my education. Eventually, the Taliban got what they wanted. They closed our school, but I wouldn't let it stop me. I started going to a secret school, hiding my books under my shawl. Most important, I kept telling my story to other students, to adults, even to politicians. I'd like to present you with our first National Youth Prize. Thank you. Now I'd like to present you with our request for a girls' school. Prime Minister of Pakistan, Yousafzai Gilani. This will sound scary, but by the time I was 14, the Taliban threatened to hurt me if I kept speaking out. They didn't like the ideas I was putting into the world. They didn't like that I had power. This is serious, Yani. I know, Abba. My father told me, if you believe in something greater than yourself, your voice will multiply. I didn't realize how right he was. Or how quickly my world was about to change. Eventually, my school reopened and I was on the bus coming home. It was a normal day. My only worry was about how I did on the exam I just took. I remember some of the girls were singing. I was happy. Outside, I saw the road filled with life. There was a boy selling ice cream. The truth is, I don't remember the attack. My friends told me what happened later. They told me a member of the Taliban climbed on board. "Who is Malala?" I was the only girl whose face was not covered. They told me his hand was shaking as he pulled the trigger, and then everything went black. 5 days later, I woke up in a hospital in England. I had been badly hurt, shot in the face. My left eye looked different now, but the Taliban made a mistake. They thought their bullets would silence me. Instead, I had an even bigger chance to tell my story. More people were suddenly paying attention. Malala, we have 8,000 letters for you." Eventually, I learned to smile and wink again. I started doing interviews for TV programs in other countries, and meeting with more leaders who could create real change. If you spent more money on education, the world would be a better place. President Obama. When I was younger, my family and I temporarily became refugees, people who are forced from their home because of war. I never forgot that. So I also visited Syrian refugees who hadn't been in school for 3 years. We created our own organization, Malala Fund, to open schools for children all over the world. On my 16th birthday, I took my message to the rest of the world at the United Nations. "Here I stand, one girl among many. I speak not for myself, but for all girls and boys. We call upon all governments to ensure free compulsory education for every child all over the world. We cannot all succeed when half of us are held back." In my life, people tried to silence me. They didn't like that I was strong and outspoken, and the most powerful thing of all, educated. They saw me as a threat to their power, and they were right. I may be small, but I am mighty. You are mighty too. Education scares those who want to control us. Our voices scare them. Equality scares them. But that's how we move the world forward. Reading, learning, thinking, speaking up, these are gifts that are yours to use. And when we join together, we are unstoppable. In 2014, Malala was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize, the youngest person ever to win it. The UN currently counts 80 million people who are forcibly displaced worldwide. Up to 34 million are children. In addition to working with refugees, Malala Fund advocates for the 130 million girls around the world who are currently out of school. Join us at malala.org to help change that. I am an ordinary girl whose life was transformed by teachers and learning. There are millions of others who need similar help. That's why I will not be quiet. The world doesn't change unless you speak up. Use your voice. Help those who need it. As I said at the United Nations, we must believe in the power and strength of our words. Our words can change the world. Let us pick up our books and pens. They are our most powerful weapons. I am Malala Yousafzai, and I know that education helps us all soar. One child, one teacher, one pen, and one book can change the world. Malala Yousafzai. And at the bottom we have our timeline, July 12th, 1997, born in Mingora, Pakistan. 2006, Taliban arrives in Swat Valley. 2008, first diary entry published. January 3rd, 2009, family displaced as refugees for 2 months. December 20th, 2011, awarded Pakistan's National Youth Peace Prize, known as the Malala Prize. And of course, at the top here we have a portrait of Malala herself. Continuing with our timeline at the bottom, October 9th, 2012, shot by a masked gunman. July 12, 2013, addresses United Nations Youth Assembly. December 2014, wins Nobel Peace Prize. 2020, graduates from Oxford University. And then our top left, we have Malala with Syrian refugees at Malala Yousafzai All-Girls School in Lebanon, 2015. Top right, we have meeting with President Obama and his family at the White House in 2013. Bottom left, the Yousafzai family in 2018. And bottom right, Malala speaking at the United Nations in 2013.